Hello and welcome back to Sorta Strategy and another episode of Archetypes Explained. This episode I'll be doing Altergeist, a really kind of cool control deck to kind of slowly build up resources on you and just make it harder and harder for you to play. And they remind me of Salamangreats in a way where they just constantly gain resources. They're pretty strong, really underrated right now in my opinion. And yeah, I'm gonna jump straight in. Okay, so with probably the best main deck card, Multi-Faker. If you activate a trap card, you can special summon this card from your hand. This effect alone basically makes cards like Infinite Impermanence or Typhoon or Evenly Matched really strong cards in this deck. So yeah, keep that in mind. Basically, if you have Infinite Impermanence, you have to play them in this deck. Like, this deck needs Infinite Impermanence, pretty much. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Altergeist monster from your deck in defense position except for this card. So that's already amazing, so you can do this on either player's turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Altergeist monsters. You can only use each effect of this once per turn. So, most of the time you will summon this from your hand on your opponent's turn, so the locking you to Altergeist monsters doesn't really matter. But it can come up, be careful, basically locking yourself to... You summoning this on your own turn can lock you into... you know, subpar plays, we'll say. Okay. Yeah. Next card, Mulasik. So the level 1. People used to play 1-for-1 with this, but I would have had it here, but I just took it away last second. I don't really think it's worth playing, to be honest. There's so much other stuff you need. This card can attack directly in time, can come up. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. So it's not destroying, which is nice. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. Except this guy, you can only use each effect of this once per turn. So this is basically how you usually get to your Multi-Faker or sometimes your Marionetter. So what can happen is you can activate a trap on your turn, summon Multi-Faker, and instead of summoning out one of your normal targets like Silcatus, you might summon Mulasik instead. Link away Mulasik and then you can normal summon Marionetter. It comes up sometimes. But most of the time when you summon Multi-Faker on your opponent's turn, you'll summon the Silcatus. Sorry, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Trying not to. Alright, next card. Marionetter. The level 4. These are all different types as well, as you can tell. So, nothing really to abuse there. When this card is normal summoned, you can set one Altergeist spell... Or, Altergeist spell or trap. Altergeist trap directly from your deck in your spell and trap card zone. You can target one Altergeist card you control and one Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send that target on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that other monster from your graveyard. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. Each effect of this once per turn. So you normal summon gets trapped. This is really nice. It's kind of your only real normal summon in the deck. Well, Mulasik is often normal summon, but this is the one you want to normal summon most of the time, I would say. I don't know. Either of these are good, really. But yeah, normal summon. The second effect of Marionetter is good for sending Mulasik from field to graveyard sometimes, if you can. So Mulasik will proc then, and Marionetter gets to summon from grave as well. Bring back your Multi-Faker, and then you can do some weird shit. So I'll go to the next card, right, which is also important. So Silcatus, this is kind of what you will summon from the deck 99% of the time with Multi-Faker, okay? Because most of the time you'll summon Multi-Faker on your opponent's turn. Quick effect, you can turn one Altergeist card you control to the hand. Then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand, and if... Full stop. Return it to the hand, full stop. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target an Altergeist spell trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So second effect actually does really come up, especially with Marionetter as well. So basically Marionetter can target either of these two with the second effect. It's pretty nice. Silcatus basically bounces back Multi-Faker to your hand for use on your own turn. So let's say you activate a trap, summon Multi-Faker. Summon from the deck Silcatus. Silcatus bounces an opponent's card to bounce back this to your hand, and then you have this ready to use for next turn. Very strong. And yeah, that's basically how most of the interruption goes. You search with this, set a trap from deck with this, summon a monster from deck with this, and then this one is the bounce, basically. It's very strong. Next card. Oh yeah, so we'll go through ratios while I'm here, actually. So 3 Multi-Faker without a doubt, 3 Mulasik without a doubt at all times, 3 Marionetter all the time, 2 Silcatus, and then 1 Concuri. So, Concuri then is when an opponent's monster declares an attack, and if you control an Altergeist card, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate the attack. So it's basically like a Battle Fader, which is decent. If this card is special summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls, negate the effects, and while it and this monster are face up on the field. So it summons itself as the Multi-Faker or the Battle Fader effect, and then can negate as well, which is actually pretty nice, honestly. So moving on to the traps, then we have Personal Spoofing. This one is always played at 3. Once per turn, you can shuffle one Altergeist card from your hand or face up on the field into the main deck and add an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand, basically helping you get to your Multi-Faker pretty much again. Yeah, it's really, really good. Always play 3, pretty much. There were people cutting it for a while there, but 3 is definitely most popular as of right now. Altergeist Protocol. Always play this at 2 as of right now anyway. People were playing a lot of these at 3 for a long time, or, you know, weird kind of different ratios to the way it is now. But the 3 main Altergeist traps, you will play 3 Spoofing, 2 Protocol, 1 Manifestation. They're the most common ratios for them. If the activation and effects of Altergeist cards cannot be negated, pretty much, okay? When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can send one face-up Altergeist card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use the effect of this once per turn, which is actually really, really strong. Really nice. It's just like, not being able to chain to the bounce is really annoying. Not being able to chain to any of the searches is really annoying. Basically, and then also when your opponent activates in a monster, sending an Altergeist card you control to the graveyard. As you know, you can send Mulaseek to the graveyard or Silcatus to the graveyard and get bonus effects as well. So that's kind of the way it works so far. You're kind of seeing the trend anyway. And once we finish these main deck Altergeist cards, the rest of it is kind of just like, a lot of these are just good traps and stuff, but I'll explain some of them. Altergeist Manifestation. Target an Altergeist monster in your graveyard, special summon it in attack position, and if you do, equip it with this card. Okay? When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. You can banish this card from your grave and target an Altergeist trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of this once per turn. So pretty much this special summons back your anything you want, really. A lot of time Mulaseek, and then you tribute off the Mulaseek and get a search, which is really nice. But yeah, even Silcatus can come back with it and be pretty solid, or recycling your Multi-Faker if you have another target who, if you have Silcatus to bounce it back, pretty much. But yeah, most of the time this card is played at 1. It's pretty good, but you wouldn't need more of it than 1 of it. Okay, next card, Pot of Indulgence. You kind of need this in this deck. They don't really use the extra deck all that much. There are some cards that are much more important than others. You need link monsters to link away Mulaseeks and sometimes Silcatus, but less so Silcatus. Linking off Mulaseek comes up a lot, and then they have an Archetype link monster that is very important also. Other than that though, the banishing from extra deck is kind of free, and then the drawing is just amazing. Infinite Impermanence. Basically, the negate from hand is really nice because you can summon the Multi-Faker, and yeah, basically it gives you a good go on second play, pretty much, right? It is really, really good. You activate this, negate, summon the Multi-Faker, get the Multi-Faker to summon out Silcatus, and then it's pretty solid. It's good interruptions for opponent's turn. Nice one. Especially against Orcus now that they're pretty much crippled by 1 or probably 2 negates, we'll say. Next card we're seeing a lot of recently is Compulsory, which is actually really refreshing to see this card back. I know that sounds weird, refreshing to see something back, but anyway. Compulsory is a card we're seeing a lot of. I've probably put this back here, really, because this is like an engine, sort of. But yeah, Compulsory, just a nice interactive card that you can activate pretty much nearly any time. And it can target your own monsters, which, you know, is just a nice extra bit of versatility, but doesn't come up too much. Metaverse. Take a field spell from your deck, either activate it or add it to your hand. So you can play 3 of this. I like this a lot. 3 Metaverse, and you can play Secret Village and Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine I hope gets banned, but even with just Secret Village, this will be really, really good. If you control a spellcaster monster, your opponent cannot activate spell cards. If there are no spellcasters, if you control no spellcasters, you cannot activate spell cards. So yeah, basically you'll get out your bounce with your Multi-Faker and your Silcatus, and have your opponent can't activate spells, and on top of that, really, really strong. Mystic Mine, at this point, you should all know what this does. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, they cannot attack or activate monster effects, pretty much. There are ways to get rid of it, but yeah, if you control, at the end of the turn, if you both control the same amount of monsters, it destroys itself, pretty much. That's that. Next card, Crackdown. This card came out and was seen as immediate support for this deck, only because it's just a strong trap card. Basically, it takes an opponent's monster, and onto your side of the field. That's pretty much what it does, which is really nice. Another good trap. Other good traps to run are, I'm going to speed through these because they're less important. Other good traps to consider are Heavy Storm Duster. It basically just pops 2 spell and traps. It's a trap. You cannot conduct your battle phase turn you activate this card. That's the only clause, but you use it on your opponent's turn, obviously. Solemn Strike, an amazing card. I'd say definitely run this. Solemn Judgment, another great card. Solemn Warning, Imperial Order, negating spells, just, you know, being annoying. And then these 2 cards I've seen less often, but I thought I'd include them anyway. Trap Trick, just great in trap-based decks, but I don't know if I love it or anything like that. Pretty good though. And then Duality you see a lot less, but it's still a pretty good card. Just in a deck that doesn't really need its special summon, but I don't like it because even if you're going first and you want to save your multi-faker for your opponent's turn, that's the thinking behind this, right? You do a lot of time end up having to normal summon Mullaseek and then link it away to get Mullaseek Search for the multi-faker, which is, you know, really what you want. So I personally don't like the Duality. I would say don't run the Duality. It just gives you more kind of weird shit in your deck to have to play around, pretty much. Alright, so extra deck in Archetype monsters. So just so we don't go any further than this, I have skipped the ones that are really not relevant, because a lot of the time when I'm doing these Archetypes Explained, I will go over some of the less relevant monsters and stuff like that. But this deck is so like cemented now. Like the builds don't really change that much, and the cards that don't get played never get played. So yeah, I'm only covering the ones that do see play. So hopefully you're okay with that. During the main phase, quick effect. You contribute 1 Altergeist monster, special summon an Altergeist monster from your deck to the zone this card points to. If this card is sent from the field to graveyard, you can target an Altergeist card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Prime Banshee once per turn. Prime Banshee is pretty good, but you don't actually summon it that much. This is a one-of, I would say. If most decks will run it, but most decks will run it at 1, and I think that's the right call. Next card, Hextia. This is a 3-of for sure, especially with Extravagance. Yeah, Hextia is a really solid card. I really like the artwork on it as well. Anyway, 2 Altergeist monsters. So, linking away Mullaseek or Silkatis will get their effects to make this monster, which is nice. Gains attack equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to. When a spell, trap, or effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute an Altergeist monster this card points to, negate activation. If you do, destroy it, which is nice. Spell and trap negation on top of all your set back row and your Silkatis bounce and your hand traps or whatever else. You don't run too many hand traps, but I'll get to that in a minute when I show off some builds. If this card is sent from the field to graveyard, you can add an Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effects of this. You can only use this effect of Hextia once per turn. So yeah, Hextia is a lot of the time she gains attack equal to what she points to. So you can get her up to 31 using Marionetter, but a lot of the time you'll see Hextia pointing to a Hextia, making one of them 3k, and then the other one's kind of more just a tribute target. But yeah, it's not too bad because you'll get a search off the one you tribute, so it's pretty nice. The other card I nearly consider an archetype card because it's basically a link one you can make with Mullaseek to guarantee the search is Linkuriboh. I would say run 2 of this for sure. If you're really scared of banishing all 3 copies, run 3 if you want. Well, I think 2 is good. Like 2 is great. But yeah, basically he gives you the battle disruption if you really need to leave on him. But you'll end on him a lot of the time, but you need to be able to make him to get the Mullaseek search, which is really, really good though. Don't think it's bad, it's class. Okay, and then side deck cards that I wanted to mention because they're amazing are in this deck are obviously Secret Village. If you're not running the Metaverse and Secret Village kind of package in the main, that's fine, but I'd say definitely side Secret Village at least. And then Evenly Matched is pretty much a staple, 3 of these, because it's a trap that activates in hand and you can activate Multi-Faker off it, which is really strong. And then Typhoon is the exact same. Another trap that can just activate from the hand and trigger Multi-Faker, which is great. And yeah, that is pretty much all the cards loosely explained. I hope that helped you kind of, it just helped you go through the cards pretty much that are important and give you an idea of what you want to do when you're building this deck. I'm going to show you 2 builds now. Both of them topped Euros, so I'll go to top 64 first. So 3 Multi-Faker, 3 Mullaseek, 3 Marionetter, 2 Silkatis, and 1 Kinkuri. That's pretty much every Altergeist deck pretty much is the same with these. 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Ash Blossom, and then 3 Phantasme. So Phantasme I really hate in this deck. I'll tell you why. because Multi-Faker says the turn you activate this effect, you can only... the turn... Oh, God, I'm after skipping it. Where is it? You cannot splash summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Altergeist monsters, which really clashes with Phantasme. Phantasme, like, doesn't really work with... like, it'll be stuck in your hand a lot. I don't think this is a good card in this deck. Personally, I don't own them anyway. They're expensive, so fuck it. If you don't have to play it, that's great, but... yeah, if you basically what I'm saying to you is, if you want to build this deck and you're thinking of splashing some money, buy these or buy these. These are much more important than Phantasmes, just so you know. But yeah, he got top 64 at Euros, which is a huge event. So yeah, I guess can't be all that bad, can it? 3 Extravagance, 3 Spoofing, 3 Protocol, and 3 Manifestation. 2 Compulsory then, 2 Strike, 1 Order, 1 Judgment, 1 Warning, and then the 3 Infinite Impermanence. The extra deck then is pretty normal for the most part, but some of it's kind of weird. Prime Banshee, 3 Hexia, a Borrowload, a Borrowed Sword, Ningirsu, Unicorn, Triple Burst, 2 Phoenix, which is very strange, but I guess like you kind of have the space. Clara and Ruska is like you don't really need it, but if you're playing Link Karibo, pretty much you don't need it. But yeah, I guess it's another Link Karibo kind of. Yes. Can only be summoned in main phase 2. I don't really see why. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. 2 Link Karibos, and then this he said he put in just for a joke. So this is pretty much an empty space. Blood Mephist is a bit of a weird card. I don't see why he'd play it. Extra side deck then he played 2 Prankotrops, which is actually really nice in this deck. 3 Lancia, which pretty much stapled this format. 3 Secret Village, 3 Evenly Matched, 2 Twin Twist, or 2 Typhoon, and 2 Heavy Storm Duster. So yeah, this build, there's some stuff I really don't like. I really don't like the Phantasmes. Effect Vader's okay. I don't hate it, but I think there's other stuff you could play. And then I think other than that, it's okay. But the next build, the one that came in the top 32, is much more normal. I think this is one I like a lot more myself, especially because it runs the Metaverse package thing that I was talking about, which is really, really good, in my opinion. Anyway, 3 Multi-Faker, 3 Mullaseek, 3 Marionetter, 2 Silcatus, and 1 Concuri. That's the exact same as the last build. 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Indulgence, 1 Secret Village, 1 Mystic Mine, 3 Infinite Impermanence, 3 Spoofing, 2 Protocol, 1 Manifestation. So these, again, are the exact same ratios as the last build. He's playing 3 Compulse and 2 Crackdown. The last build didn't play Crackdown either, which I think is a really good card in this deck. I don't see why you wouldn't run Crackdown. I wouldn't run 3 Crackdown though. 2 is good. And to be honest, to make it a 40 card deck, I would probably just cut one of these. But yeah, this guy got top 32, as I said before, at Euros. So yeah, take his word over mine. 3 Metaverse, 3 Strike, and 1 Solemn Judgment. He didn't play the Imperial Order, but that's okay, I suppose. The extra deck then is pretty much the same, except he played Hisa and 1 Phoenix. The other guy played 2 Phoenix, as you remember. The Dingirsu is really nice, actually, because the Dingirsu is for snatch stealing the Galatea with Crackdown, and then putting your own Dingirsu on top of that, which is really cool. And then Borrowload, Borrowed Sword, Ningirsu, Topologic Bomber Dragon, Mech Knight Avramax, and Heat Leo. Heat Leo is in here. I don't even know why, really. I guess Ita, pretty much. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I can't even think of how you make Ita. You need 1 fire monster. I guess if you normal summon Ash, is that what he's thinking? My stupid Hexia is fire, actually. I don't know. Probably with Hexia, I guess, but it's kind of a weird one. Then the side, 2 Ogre, 3 Prankotrops, 3 Lancia, a Secret Village, second one, 2 Heavy Storm Duster, 3 Evenly Matched, and the Imperial Order. So yeah, I think this build is really good. I personally would go with this one, try this one out if you want to try and learn this deck, or play this deck, or buy this deck even. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I hope that's helped. Kind of a weird one. I kind of stumbled around the place there over my words a bit, but oh well. I guess I haven't been doing this in a bit. Only like a week, but still. Anyway, drop a like if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more, comment what deck you'd like me to kind of give the rundown on next, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, bye bye.